What happened in Minnesota was a straight up murder, in my opinion. And it's awful. This lady was probably trying to go home and she didn't make it home, and that's really sad. So the whole ICE thing it's a travesty. It's clearly, to me, we're attacking brown people, and I just happen to be brown.
Well, I'm glad that the Timberwolves, recognized, her life and the tragic nature of her death, and it's shameful, really, that in our country we can have law enforcement officers who commit murder and seemingly get away with it. It's shameful that the government can come out and lie about what happened when there's video and witnesses who have all come out and disputed what the government is saying. So very demoralizing.
Well, guys, I never thought I would have to go to the NBA to get the dumbest political opinions possible. But Doc Rivers and Steve Kerr, two legendary coaches, not so much for good things in the case of Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, of course, chokes in every playoff series. Everybody can coach better than Doc Rivers in the playoffs. Literally everyone. If you don't know anything about basketball, don't worry. You're still better than Doc Rivers, who's a net negative to every team he's ever been on. And then you have Steve Kerr, who was on the Bulls, and he's even dumber. They both have massive case of TDS. Doc Rivers, who has a hairline, but doesn't really have a hairline. It's very confusing.
What happened in Minnesota was a straight up murder, in my opinion. And it's awful. This lady was probably trying to go home and she didn't make it home, and that's really sad.
Okay, that's not the facts. He doesn't know what he's talking about. She's probably trying to go home. No, that's not what happened at all. Maybe shut up until you know the facts. She was actually with an Abolish ICE group out there trying to interrupt their operations. She wasn't just trying to go home. And when they say she's a mother, so what? Just because someone's a mother doesn't mean they can't be doing something stupid. In fact, that hurts your argument, Democrats. Oh, she's a mother and she's going out and fighting ICE, and now she's gone, and now one of her kids doesn't have a father or a mother? Great parenting job.
How dare you?
Great thinking, Democrats. Yes, look, she's a brave mother out there risking her life for absolutely no reasons, for Somali fraudsters.
This lady was, what happened in Minnesota was a straight up murder, in my opinion.
No, the straight up murder, in my opinion, is that hairline you got over there. What the heck, man? Go to Turkey and call it a day. Do something, man. I mean, if you're going to get a hairline, why don't you fill in the middle part? Yeah.
The whole ICE thing it's a travesty. It's clearly, to me, we're attacking brown people, and I just happen to be brown.
And you think they're going to go after you, the rich millionaire who sucks at coaching basketball, who leads all of his teams to fail in the playoffs? You think they're going after you? I wish they'd go after you. You should be arrested for all the teams you've defrauded with your horrible coaching. And whoever you're trying to pass that hairline off to, they also should get their money back.
And I don't think it should just be brown people.
You want us to go after all the white people, the Swedes and the Norwegians, and what white people are illegally in our country? Like, is this a problem at all? Serbians? I mean, who was he even talking about? Russians? Do we have illegal Russians? Get them out of here. I don't give a damn. Most of the problem with illegal immigration is brown people because most countries are brown. It's not even a racist thing to say that. Yeah, I think they're going after brown people. Yeah, well, most of the people outside of the United States that aren't in Europe are brown. We don't have an Australian immigration problem. They're on an island. Have you ever looked at a map, Doc Rivers?
I don't think it should just be brown.
You should have just stopped it right there, Doc. I don't think. Exactly. Thank you very much, stupid basketball American. Get out of here.
who are upset at this. I think we all have to be. I don't care what side of this thing you are.
We all have to be, even though we're on different sides, we all need to be mad at an ICE agent shooting at a crazy Democrat who's trying to drive into him. We should all be outraged at this. We should all be outraged that we're trying to get illegal immigrants out of our country. Why? We like that, dummy. We don't see everything as a race issue, dummy.
It should just be brown people who are upset at this. I think we all have to be. I don't care what side of this thing.
Why do you assume that every brown person thinks like you, Doc Rivers? Oh man, has he ever considered that for a second, that not all brown people think exactly the way he does about race? No, most of us think you're an idiot. Most of us think you have TDS. Most of us think you have a lot of problems winning games in the playoffs and not choking. What an embarrassment. What an idiot. Seriously. These are the people coaching our basketball players that are making millions of dollars playing games no one even wants to watch anymore. This is the best they can do. This idiot. How smart could he be at basketball? Listen to this moron.
You are on politically. What's going on in our country right now is absolutely wrong as far as the race stuff.
What race stuff? What are you even talking about? Renee Good was white. And the person that shot her was white, who's married to a Filipino. So how racist is he? This is where Democrats are at. You're racist if you want to get illegal immigrants out of the country. I don't even understand how that you could possibly think that is a good standard for righteousness. Why do you think it's okay to let anybody who comes to America just stay here without even setting up in the country properly? What is the moral argument for letting anybody that wants to come here stay here and we have to pay for them?
It's wrong, and we have to do something. But the only thing we can do right now is keep speaking up, because it doesn't seem like they care.
Yeah, keep bitch. That always works. Keep bitch about problems that aren't real in the world.
Diabetes.
You have no credibility. You can't even win playoff series. Why would anyone trust you? You choke every playoff game. Every game 7, Doc Rivers can be guaranteed to choke. And he's not even playing. He's motivating his teams to do the worst they can do. Do you guys understand how bad this is? This isn't you're on the team and you have a bad game. You are the guy who is preparing them for the most pivotal games of the series, game 7s, game 6s, where he's in the lead. And he is literally motivating them to doing so bad that they always lose when it matters. Imagine the negative impact that his thinking has on the people around him.
And
what an
that's
idiot.
Troublesome. Last thing I'm going to say, because I don't want to stay on this, but I could.
Doc Rivers, could you please elaborate? Can you please go into the details? Can you tell us more about the homicide that you know nothing about? Who do these people think they are? Losing so many playoff series, getting just embarrassed, just showing that whoever is coaching that team is putting bad seeds in their brain so they'll be worse than ever. And he has the audacity to lecture us on racism. Yes, in your world, all brown people should think exactly alike, because that's what it's all about, right, Doc Rivers? You can say what you want to say about Doc Rivers, but if you tell me he has a high IQ, I think you're out of your damn mind. I literally think there's dogs smarter than him. I'm not even kidding. I think there's Belgian Malinois that are smarter than Doc Rivers. For sure. He is not smart. He's an idiot. Now look at Steve Kerr, who's also an idiot. So you know I'm not racist. He's also dumb, and he's a white guy. So don't come at me and go, oh, yeah, you're so racist. You say the black guy looks like a dog and he's rough and all this. Well, now I'm going to say the same thing about a cuck named Steve Kerr.
Tragic. I'm glad that the Timberwolves, recognized, her life and the tragic nature of her death. And it's shameful, really, that in our country we can have law enforcement officers who commit murder, seemingly get away with it. It's shameful that the government can come out and lie about what happened when they're...
Wait. You're calling it murder when she literally drove her car into him, and you're going to say, no, that's murder, and they're lying. No, you're a liar. The evidence is clear on this. She accelerated while he was still in front of the car. Whether or not it just would have broke his hip or killed him is irrelevant. That's if you're an honest thinker. If you're a lying piece of crap like Steve Kerr, who's a cuck, then he's going to call it probably racist, sexist, Whatever virtue signaling nonsense. This guy has no soul, guys. I mean, this is the kind of person who sells their soul. They'll say anything. I don't even think he believes this. It's like, I got to keep the black guys I got to keep Steph Curry and all of his friends happy. So let me give the most cucked out white guy opinion. Because there's nothing that black people love more than seeing a little cuck like Steve Kerr. I agree with you guys. I think white guys should give you guys all the money and we should work for you guys instead. Yeah, if it was up to me.
We can have law enforcement officers who commit murder.
So that's a lie. How is it murder if somebody is trying to drive into you and you shoot them? How is that murder? That's called self-defense. If you're an honest person, or I guess Steve Kerr's okay with me driving my car into him and he can only retaliate after he's under the tire.
Get away with it. It's shameful that the government can come out and lie about what happened when there's video and witnesses who have all come out and
we don't need witnesses. We have the video, and the video shows that she accelerated into him while he was in front of the car. Open and shut case. That's all there is to know. That's literally it. Everything you think of him and what he's about and everything after is irrelevant. She accelerated into him, and yes, for the next 1.5 seconds, you can fire as many shots as you can get off because your life is in danger. It is not his job to care about her well-being when she's trying to drive into him. If you're a Democrat and you can't see that, you're really, really stupid.
Disputed what the government is saying. So very demoralizing, devastating to lose, anyone's life, especially in that matter. So it's terribly sad for her family and for her and for that city. And I'm glad the Timberwolves came out and expressed that sadness.
What an idiot. I mean, at this point, guys, I think it's really time to say, all right, enough NBA. I'll watch it if it's on, but how can you even find it? You got to have Amazon Prime, you got to have Apple TV, you got to have NBA package. You can't watch it within 2 hours of LA for some dumb reason unless you have some other cable package. I think you got to take the NBA off the list. Tune in the NBA Finals, but I'll tell you, it's really not that interesting. The players are really good, but no one's really playing defense. Everyone's shooting three-pointers, and it's like, all right, let's just get to the playoffs. These games don't matter. Nobody's even trying. That's what it's coming to. Sage Steele says, feelings over facts, virtue signaling at its finest. Steve Kerr has made a habit of this, as has Doc Rivers, who is saying the same thing as Kerr about the Minnesota incident. Fascinating that both coaches were silent when Irina Zaruska and Charlie Kirk were murdered. Shocker. That's a really good point. Didn't hear Steve Kerr or bulldog face Doc Rivers say anything when Charlie Kirk was murdered for political violence and when Irina was murdered by a black man in a subway just for trying to ride a train. Democrats don't care about those. Those are called victims, guys. Democrats care about idiots that do dumb things that find out. They're passionate about that demographic. They want to push people more into that demographic. Please go out and do something really stupid so we can make a narrative about it and we can seem morally superior to everybody else because we care about you doing that dumb thing and finding out. Just Lookin' says, remember, Steve Kerr is the guy who lets black men, Michael Jordan, beat him up, then gets on TV to brag and gloat about it gleefully. This is exactly what an abused, battered wife would say. And that is so true. Michael Jordan did punch Steve Kerr in the face, and Steve Kerr's like, yep, that's why he's the greatest of all time. And I was like, dude, what? Biotech Big Bird says, Steve Kerr is the most bitter, grumpiest ass that has aged poorly. No one gives one shit what he has to say about politics. Now that is true. Pamela Hensley says people are calling for defamation lawsuits against Golden State head coach Steve Kerr for calling ICE agents murderers. The Warriors should fire him on the spot. He's supposed to be a coach, not a political pundit. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's never going to happen. I don't really care if they fire him. I want him to have to answer to his obvious lies and say, Steve, you called them murderers. Do you realize that she was driving into one of them? Do you think that matters? Sam says, I think Steve Kerr is the worst coach in the NBA. And then I remember his politics are even worse. That's true. He's actually not a very good coach lately. Jim B says Steve Kerr is a moron. I didn't think he was that stupid when he played for the Bulls, but now I believe he's always been that stupid. He needs to stay in his lane and stay out of politics. He's only making a fool of himself. That's for sure. Clay Travis says, interesting legal question. Doc Rivers could clearly be sued for defamation here. Legal standard is high. But could NBA and Bucks also be sued since they require Rivers to speak to media as part of his contract and could potentially be held liable for his falsehoods? I think so. I think we should just start suing all of them, guys. Enough already. We want them repenting and saying, okay, we're really sorry we went too far. Please forgive us. Then we say, okay, you're forgiven.
Hold up.
But not now. No. Mays says, are NBA coaches the dumbest people on the planet? I think so. If you realize what the NBA is now, the coaching is kind of just doesn't matter. Joe Honest Truth says, Bucks coach Doc Rivers says, ICE killed an innocent woman who was simply on her way home. What? Idiot. Oh, Doc Rivers, let me show you how innocent Renee Good was, by the way. Okay, you see her in the middle of the road, impeding the entire traffic on both sides? Do you see that? Do you see her as she's honking the horn? Does she look like she's just driving her kid home, you stupid idiot? Bilbo Baggins says, Doc Rivers apparently has the IQ of an average Minnesota daycare worker. Seriously. I mean, this is kind of shocking, right? A guy could be an NBA coach, playing the NBA, and you hear him talking, you're like, wow, you're actually really, really stupid and uninformed. Denny B says, trying to go home. LMFAO, bro, did this guy even watch the videos? Effing moron. Ian Yeager says, this is why I don't watch the NBA anymore, and this is why their ratings are so bad. Well, it's just the quality of the basketball sucks, and really, the quality of the human beings playing it are just not likable anymore. They're very good at basketball. They do cool things when they try, but they don't try very often. They're Nephilim playing a sport that we thought was cool when we were little kids, and now they're just a bunch of crybabies that really want to lecture us on how to be a good person. Please, you dribble a ball around and throw it at a piece of metal. And you think you're the greatest person. Oh, look at me. I'm Steve Kerr. I can take a ball and throw it into a hoop. Wow, look at me. What a humanitarian I am. John Hawkins says it's amazing people would say that kind of thing in public when there's literally video proving it isn't true. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. Keith Ainsworth says, when Democrats don't have a platform to run on, they just repeat everyone else's lies. This is kind of what they do now. They're just not honest people, and they can never be allowed to hold power again. This is not an extreme position. They are showing you who they are. And I'm really saying maybe we get rid of the democracy before the Democrats can come in and, import all the fraud and do all what they're doing. Maybe it's time to say, okay, you know what? We're not really going to let you guys vote anymore. I'm for it. We got to save the democracy by getting Democrats to stop voting, guys. It might be the only way, right? Dylan Loomis says him and Steve Kerr sleeping together. Yeah, probably. I can see it. Unfiltered Artist says, why is the NBA commenting on things not related to basketball? Well, they want to show you how dumb they are and how good of a person they think they are. And you know that we do the facts here, so I want to show you why Doc Rivers is so bad and probably why his brain is so messed up. He had a 3-1 series lead in the playoffs. All they have to do is win one more game and they move on to the next round. He had 3-1 leads and he lost them. No coach in the history of basketball, and maybe never will be in the history of basketball, could ever choke that bad. Any of you out there could do the exact same thing he did. Get a 3-1 lead and lose. Every single one of you. There's nothing that Doc Rivers could do that you couldn't do in that moment. You are just as good as Doc Rivers in losing 3-1 series lead. In fact, a hamster is just as good as that. This is the legacy of Doc Rivers. So Doc Rivers thinks he's better than you by calling people murderers and not knowing the facts. In fact, Doc Rivers, if you claim to be a brother in Christ over here, Doc Rivers, do you understand that bearing false testimony about somebody being a murderer and not knowing what the heck you're talking about, do you understand that's a sin? That's literally bearing false testimony. Maybe you should be slow to speak and quick to listen because you don't know anything. You liar! Maybe before you go out there and sow dissension in the community, you know what the heck you're talking about. Because here's what happens. mentally ill, stupid, barely sentient Democrats who don't really know anything will watch Doc Rivers and say, did you know someone got murdered today? Yeah, ICE out there killing people. And it's like, no, that's not what happened. Where did you hear that? Doc Rivers, the head coach of an NBA team who loses playoff series better than anybody else, he told me. Oh, okay, that's cool. I'm going to repeat that to everybody else. Let's go vote for Democrats. That's what happens. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.